But then the more I listen, I hear the things that are dangerous for people.
About a week ago, I did a video on Kendrick Lamar's song Reincarnated. Into the utter horror of Kendrick Lamar fanboys, I was dragged in the comments section. I said that in the record, the third verse is clearly Kendrick rapping from the perspective of Lucifer and trying to take the devil's story back. I mean, he plainly tells you so much. Well, of course, when someone is a Kendrick Lamar fanboy, they cannot stand this, the cognitive dissonance. He's my hero. He's so close. He's so enlightened. He's so smart. Other outlets have since came out and acknowledged that this is a pretty dark story. Let's pull up the Joe Budden podcast clip on this. But we also got our own, the homie, LRae, who phoned in from Nigeria, Africa, to give his thoughts on this situation. Okay, so all you guys that jumped out the window and said that I didn't know what I was talking about, Ruslan, you don't understand hip-hop, you're not a part of the culture. Well, here's the culture making the same exact points by two prominent people within the culture, using the same exact points as I did in this conversation. So let's first look at the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah, but I was thinking the scenarios were actual stories from artists in the past.
Got it.
I don't hear that.
No, that's what I heard. They said they are actual artists, and those artists passed away, and they were born again. And it kept going like that.
Who was born again?
He was.
He's the last person.
Saint Lucifer was born into the artist and then passed away and then came again into another
but I'm
person.
saying verse 1 and verse 2, there's no information in there in verse 1 and verse 2 that says, I'm talking about Chuck Berry. I'm talking about Billie Holiday. No, actually, the opening of the song, he is saying, me dancing through my past life transgressions had me here. And then in the final verse, he comes on and says, and now I'm me. Mm-hmm. And he's pulling from the information from his past, whoever the other person was.
John D. Hooker, I heard, was.
And
what's the other name I just told you?
Dinah Washington.
Dinah Washington.
So it wasn't
tracks.
Holiday.
They are saying that.
I'm just saying what I hear.
Yeah, our interpretation is
to
different.
the song.
Yeah, our interpretation is different.
Well, that's art.
Our interpretation is different. So this is the culture. This is the biggest hip hop podcast in the world, and two of the hosts are saying verbatim what I told you guys. They're actually saying more than that. They're actually saying the whole song is written from the perspective of Satan, reincarnating themselves and landing in Kendrick Lamar. I just said the third verse was
and that's what Joe Budden was saying, right? Just right now.
Joe Budden saying, I don't hear it that way.
That's real
the
art.
way I gathered it was the devil, and then this person, and now I'm reincarnated, and I'm still kind of having some of the fights that those people had with different. You know what I'm saying? Reincarnation is when you die and you're born as somebody else.
Pause it. Okay, so he has to explain what reincarnation is to Joe Budden. So those of you guys that said Ruslan is nobody's talking about, he's not from the culture. You got the Joe Budden podcast saying almost verbatim what I said. But it doesn't stop there, friends. We got our very own LRae, who decided to phone in from Nigeria, Africa, to give us his thoughts on it.
So, initially I wasn't going to talk about this because again, it's like the clout chasing thing. I don't want anybody to perceive this as that. And I was listening to Kendrick's album and just like, man, thinking about how wonderful of a craftsman he is. Just like, golly, he's so good at this. And this music and the soundscape and the lyricism. It's just the concepts. It's like a class in its own in terms of his creative giftings. But then the more I listen, I hear the things that are dangerous for people. Specifically, the Reincarnated song. The Reincarnated song, on first listen, I'm just like acknowledging like, oh, he took the Tupac beat and you know what I'm saying? He's telling a story and you get into the story. And it's almost like when someone is telling you this amazing story and they take a left turn that you wasn't expecting them to take and you're like, hold on, wait, say that again? You know what I mean? That's what it felt like to me. It was like somebody was telling me a story and it was like, yeah, man, and then I walked in a room and that's when I headbutted the television. And I'm like, wait, what? You did what? Wait, rewind. What happened? So as I'm listening to this song, someone's like, yo, he's retelling the story of Lucifer. And I'm like, oh, well, let me listen to it. Let me pay attention. Cause I'm not a lyrics first guy. I'm a like vibe first guy. So I go back and I'm like, let me listen to the lyrics. And I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're saying Lucifer embodied this first artist, then embodied the second artist, and then currently embodies you. And I'm like, whoa, my guy. Whoa now. slow down. We're going too far. Not only are we going too far, we're getting some biblical texts wrong. So on one end of the spectrum, just the idea in Isaiah 14 that he was the morning star that fell to the earth, and that's where he's saying he's getting his text from, the story of Lucifer from Isaiah 14, which a lot of people do use as the story of Lucifer, but we can't say that without a shadow of a doubt. It's a biblical text about the king of Babylon, and some people use it as a parallel, but we can't put a flagpole in that, right? We take creative licenses like, yo, this might be also referring to Lucifer, but there's nowhere where you can absolutely say that for sure scripturally. Also about him being the master musician, it's like that's Ezekiel 28, which is not really legit either, because what we've done is we've looked at the King James Version, which says he's made of like all these things, including tambourines, like, oh, he's made of instruments, but they actually got the Hebrew interpretation wrong. And so he was made of crystals and diamonds and different beautiful stones, not a tambourine. So we even got that part wrong. He's not like the master of music in hell. So that's another thing that I think we veered off from. And I'm like, sure, the best of us have done that. We've taken a wrong turn theologically and gotten, it's like, it's good for us to understand original context. But what I think is dangerous is what it feels like to me is Kendrick is saying that there's some redemption for Satan. Like Satan is saying, but Father, look, I embodied Kendrick and did all these good things. Is there not hope for me? And it's like, no, you can't rewrite the scriptures. Like you can't. Like to rewrite the scriptures means that you're putting yourself in the place of God. You can't take what is authoritative and inspired and infallible and just make your own version of it. Like that's when we can't do that. We're going too far. And the reason why we can't do that is because like that's just a liberty that takes us down different pathways of all kinds of heresies, which I know he's not out here trying to be a pastor or a theologian, but at the same time, I know that a lot of Christians and non-Christians see him as someone who is godly or someone who is God-fearing. And I know my super Christians out there like, hey, don't nobody see Kendrick as godly. We're not talking to you, all right? We're talking to the other people who actually do see him that way. To me, it's dangerous. Like, you don't want to say, oh, Satan has embodied me and he's trying. Like, even Satan deserves some redemption. He doesn't. He's the father of lies. Revelation says that his story's already written. He will end in the lake of fire. There's no salvation for him. The angels look into our salvation with awe and wonder. He's the accuser of the brethren. We're talking about a creature that's so evil that the Savior of the world comes to save and redeem the entire world, and he tries to get him off mission and offers him to rule and to, it's like, come on, man, like this is an evil being. Like we wouldn't be here had he not tricked Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't be in this position. I mean, maybe we would, but all I'm saying, maybe we would have tricked somebody else. But the point I'm making is his desires, he doesn't want the good favor of God. He's not like, oh God, if I can just get back in your good graces. No, he's constantly prowling around trying to destroy folks. He wants to ruin marriages, ruin lives, create suicide, create murder, create death, chaos. Like he wants all of it. He wants broken marriages, broken homes, broken families. This is not someone who's wants redemption. So I think it's dangerous to try to put him in that position. What I hear, I could be wrong, is Kendrick trying to reconcile the evil within us all, including himself, with like, well, yeah, maybe Satan does like enter us and make us do bad things and we've experienced some bad stuff, but there's hope, right? So let's rewrite our story. We don't have to be that. We can have we don't have to just be evil, right? We can change. And it's like, yes, we can, but the power is not in rewriting Satan's story. The power is in embracing the story of Jesus. The power is in embracing not what we can do, but what he has done. And that's what I desperately want, not only Kendrick, but the world to acknowledge and understand. So yeah, again, man, we've all been wrong, but there's a difference with being wrong about, I don't know, where two or more are gathered, and being wrong about a theology that says we can find redemption in changing a biblical narrative. We cannot. And I think that's that's when we get into dangerous territory. My 2 cents. Who am I? Just a man who loves God.
All right, shout out to LRae for sending in an exclusive video just for us over here. So, I don't know, man. I'm feeling really good about my take on this whole situation.
Look, every person you talked to in Christian hip hop beforehand agreed. We got people on the Joe Budden podcast. Agreed.
LRae.
And we got LRae.
Who knows Kendrick personally.
Kendrick has been close
Shared
with
the gospel with Kendrick.
Shared the gospel with him.
Agreed.
Are
you not entertained?
LRae, who even deconstructed for a little season, is back to like, nah, this is not orthodox.
This ain't it, fam. K-Dot, this ain't it.
There's no room for this.
Yeah, shout out to LRae. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.